A lot of people joining from IT Tribe. Thank you guys. Thank you so much for the support. So for today, I'm Bright Tech, which is my training platform. I am doing a tester session to talk about business analysis, which is a core training that I provide. And I want to tell you a little bit more about myself and the services that Bright Tech provides as well. And this is the opportunity for you guys to ask me as much questions as you can about Bright Tech, myself, and IT or BA related questions. So I will move to the next slide. So for today, the agenda will be for us to look at, Bright Tech and myself, and then we'll look at the role of a business analyst and other stuff that business analysts do, like requirement gathering, process mapping, stakeholder management, tools, and then maybe any questions that you have. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about my services as well. So if you have any question, just put your hand up and I will let you unmute and ask me the question. It's quite short. So even though I booked a 2 hour session, it will not really take 2 hours, probably take maybe less than an hour because I didn't want to pack so much stuff for you guys so that I know you have a busy day. It's midweek. I'm not going to crowd your mind with so many things. So moving on to the next slide about us. So us is the Bright Tech careers I'm referring to. Our Bright Tech career provides our personalized IT training and coaching from initial consultation to job placement. So what I do or what we do, we have a bespoke plans, we do regular reviews, we do interview coaching and guide you through towards achieving or landing high paying jobs. We also provide job support when you transit into your tech career. So about myself, I am Rachel Hale. I have nearly 2 decades of diverse industry experience, and I have a master's degree in human resource management. So I started my career in HR about 18 years ago, nearly 18 years ago. My career spans across sectors like oil and gas, construction, commercial infrastructure, banks, telecommunication, healthcare, and I'm currently working in an automotive company. I hold certificates in project management, testing, business analysis, Scrum Master, and have studied AWS cloud computing and Oracle configuration. Currently, I am expanding my knowledge base by studying SAP, HCM, and Employee Central as EC. So in my current role, I am a lead business analyst with, like I said, an automotive company where I leverage my extensive knowledge and experience to drive business success. At this point, we are implementing a HR system. So that fits so well into what I'm doing, which makes me a domain expert, a subject matter expert. And, because I've got that domain knowledge, it was very easy for me. It's very easy. It's a very easy project for me to handle. Okay, I, however, have I have a passion beyond my professional role. I enjoy mentoring and teaching people, and I've been helping people to transition into high-paying jobs in various fields. An example is my son was a teacher, and he's now a DevOps engineer. He secured a job last year, and he just currently bought his first house within a year. And I also helped my sister moved from, being a stay-at-home mom and doing her own business to securing her BA job. And the list goes on. I helped my daughter's grandmother to learn her first BA job as well, earning over 6 figures in her first role. So there are lots of success stories. When you go onto my website, you see how I'm helping people, and I do have a big following, and most of you here are actually in that community where we discuss about IT related stuff every Friday. And people have the privilege to ask questions as well, or if at all they have any challenges. So I have another platform called IT Tribe where we meet on Fridays to discuss IT related stuff. For those who are not in IT Tribe, I know a lot of the members are already in this meeting, you know, supporting and trying to acquire more knowledge. Okay, so do we have any question from this point? Any question about me before I move on to the topic of the day? Okay, so no questions so far. I'll carry on. So what is business analysis? Okay, so business analysis is a research discipline that involves identifying business needs and determining solutions to business problems. These solutions could include software system development components, but may also consist of process improvement, organizational change, and strategic planning and policy development. So as a business analyst, you may find yourself working in a software development project. So I'm just going to emphasize what this means. So you may have be building a new software or enhancing a particular software that the company has, or you may be engaged in organizational change. Maybe they want to change the whole department or the whole company. So that change could be either structural, not structural change, but maybe the reporting lines, how many people are in what department, and how succession can go across. So if somebody leaves, who is going to take over? All those sort of things are the kind of activities that a business analyst may, or project that a business analyst may be involved in. And when we say strategic planning, again, it may require you to be in a place where you are researching and thinking about how can the business move from where they are today to maybe a different direction. Perhaps the organization is looking to acquire more businesses, or they want to move abroad. So you may be engaged in that task where you will need to do a lot of research and come back to your stakeholders, telling them how they can move ahead from their current state to their future state. And policy development, yes, you may be involved in maybe developing policies, changing policies, because again, legislation might be changing, regulation. So you may find yourself in a regulatory contract or project where maybe a law has changed in something, some permissions or whatever, government has changed some policy, and then you have to review all the documentation to make sure that the company has new policies that adhere to whatever regulation that is current. Any question from you guys? No question. Okay. So as you see, business analysis is a very, very diverse role. Sometimes you don't know what you're going to, find yourself doing. Sometimes you may have a very clear understanding of what you will be doing. Someone like me, I'm very specialized. I am specialized in HR systems. So I find myself doing HR projects. So, but that doesn't mean that I cannot do other projects. Business analysis is a process. Once you know what you need to do, the approaches or the steps that you need to do to carry out your activity, you should be able to do a process improvement task, or organizational change, or strategic planning, or policy development. You just need to do certain steps or activities for you to do your job as a business analyst. You need to understand what is required of you as a business analyst in your task. Okay, if we don't have any question, I will move to the next slide. But again, I want us to be very interactive. I want you guys to ask me questions so that I know that you're understanding what I'm talking about, and any doubts that you have, they are clarified as we go. Okay, so I will move to the next slide. Okay, so there are two types of projects that a business analyst may find, or two common types of projects. I know there are other projects like lean management and all that, lean project management. But we have the common ones are waterfall and agile project management. Okay. So as a business analyst, you're working with software. You're not building a house, you're not building a road or a railway or anything. You are working on softwares. So that's what we build. Business analysts build softwares, or they help to build softwares. So or they get into change projects and stuff like that. But a change project is around software kind of changes or structure or organizational changes and stuff and other stuff. So yes, you have your hand up, Stephen.
Okay, yes, thank you so much. In line with what you just said now, saying that
Yes.
business analyst is all about software building, and then considering the question a participant on this platform asked, saying that without an IT background, how do you function or how do you succeed as a business analyst? So basically, what it means is that without IT background, you may find it difficult, functioning as a BA, since it all evolves around software building.
Okay, that is a very good question. You as a business analyst, you don't need to build, you're not building the software, you're supporting the project to build the software. So you are the middle person between, you are the bridge between the developers and the business. When I say business, means the people who are going to use the system. So you're the middle person. If they need anything, they talk to you and you go and get the answers from the developers and you come and talk to them. If the developers are not clear on what they need to build, they come and talk to you and you talk to the business and ask them that, okay, you want this requirement. The developers don't understand. Can you clarify? They give you more clarification and then you go back to the developers and tell them like this is what is required. But sometimes you don't need to just be in the middle and be doing that. You can bring everybody together and they have a meeting, they have that discussion and they take actions. And you as a business analyst, your role will be to make sure you organize that meeting, to make sure you chase the action. Does that make sense?
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So again, if you have transferable skills, like I said, you are going to do well, because even though you need some kind of technical skills to help you understand when the developer is saying something, it should make a bit of sense. You're not going to be confused. What are they talking about? It's good to have certain kind of background. And again, for other people who have actually worked, it makes sense for them to look at the kind of softwares that they use in their work environment. So for instance, the other person who said they have management background. Yes, what systems do you use in your company? Can you please mute whosoever has got their yeah. So you have to look back at what systems or application that you're currently using in your office, and then you can place yourself as a business analyst who has been part of that change when they were maybe implementing it or when they were enhancing the system. So that, does that make sense, Stephen? Okay, so yeah. Okay, and again, when you go into training, when you come onto my training,
yes, it does.
Okay, cool. Thank you very much. When you come onto my training platform, you'll be able to start building that technical knowledge where you can learn how to use certain tools that will be useful for you to do your job, and get yourself onto projects that can help you understand what a BA does. So that is part of the training. You learn that through the training. You learn some theory, you learn some practical hands-on things to do. Okay. So if we don't have any question, thank you for the interaction, Stephen. I really appreciate that. So we have waterfall project management, whereby it is sequential, which means one stage has to finish before we move to the other stage and the next and the next. Okay. While in Agile, we do it in iteration or in sprints. So we do everything that we do in waterfall that we can take 3 years to do. We can do it in 1 to 4 weeks in an Agile environment. So I'll take us to the next slide because it has some pictures. This is it's easier for me to explain from here that rather than from the words, from the other slide. So this is a waterfall methodology. Okay, so you start from gathering requirement, which is heavily a BA task, and analyzing those requirements, design, coding, the developers do that, testing and operation. So when you look at this waterfall, this process can take let's say 6 months to 3 years to 4 years, depending on how big and complex that project is. The project I'm currently working on started in September 2020, and we are doing a first release in August 2023, which may be postponed again to September maybe. So depending on how complex that project is, it could take many years. Sometimes contractors go onto a project to do 3 weeks or 6 weeks. They end up doing 3 years in that project. So if at all you're going for a role and they say, oh, it's just a 3-week contract, do not be shy, just go for it. You could be there for 3 years and be earning good money, £500 a day for 3 years. So yeah. Waterfall methodology used, a BA will gather the requirements from the business, they will analyze the requirement, and then once those requirements are signed off, they will pass on those requirements to the solution designer or solution consultants or whosoever they are. So it could be solution architect. Solution architect will have to do a low-level design of the high-level requirements that the business analyst has provided. Once they are done with the low-level design, it gets signed off. They'll send it to the developers. The developers will code. They'll do the coding because applications, they understand codes and they have a programming language that they understand. And what we see from the other side is a different interface from what the developers see. So they write in code. The computer understand code. So they'll do whatever they need to do in code for us so that we are able to read it in the language that we understand. And once that's done, they'll send it to the testers. The testers will test the system. They'll do some system testing, making sure that different applications are able to talk to each other, and whatever requirement that a business analyst has gathered in this process is actually built by the developers and works correctly. So once everything is satisfied, is passed, the UAT is user acceptance testing or system integration testing has passed, they will now deliver or deploy the software to the organization. And once they deploy that, they'll do other things behind, such as maintenance, the necessary support and training the users on how they're going to be using the new system. Any question from this waterfall approach? So requirement gathering may take 3 to 6 months to do. Analysis may take another, I don't know how many months to do. And then they may have to, send it to the solutions architect to do the designs and stuff like that. That could take maybe another 6 months to do. Then they send it to the developers to do. That could take maybe another 6 months. So you see how long it takes. Testing doesn't really take so much time. Testing could take maybe a few weeks to do. And then the training, communication, maintenance, and deployment could take another maybe 3 to 6 months to get everyone prepared and ready for the new system. Does that make sense? Okay, so I'll move to the next. All right, thank you.
Rachel, I don't know if
yes, you have your
hand up.
sorry.
Yeah,
Prince,
I was going to
Yes, carry on.
Yeah, I was going to ask, is there a standard time for a whole project to be completed?
There is no standard time because, like I said from the beginning, it depends on the size of the organization.
Okay.
Most of the time, and the
Okay.
size of the project team, as well as the stakeholders who are going to be involved. So the company will decide, or the project manager and the sponsors, they will decide, perhaps with the finance business partners, they will decide on how long the project will take, what is the budget, what is in scope, what is
Okay.
the resources, every other thing. They'll take all those things into consideration and try and map out how long it will take for them to complete the project. But in most cases, it's just a guesswork, because until when they get on to start doing the project, that's when they'll find the difficulties or what's easy and what's not easy. And then most often you'll see people bringing in more resources because they realize that there were not enough resources in the beginning. And sometimes they try and make sure that less people start the project, and then they start adding, because they don't want to bring a lot of people in the project and they're paying a lot of money when some people are not really doing much. And in the beginning, a lot of people don't really do much, but towards the middle of the project, that's when so many things start falling into place, because they realize that, okay, we need this. A lot of the time, a project starts small, but before you know it, many other little projects are born out of that project.
Yes.
Because they'll realize that, okay, we don't have this system. Then they'll need to get that system. Okay, this application that we are having cannot function properly, or it's not going to give a better user experience if we don't add this other application to it. Then
Yeah.
they go and get that new application. Then somebody starts working on gathering requirement for that new application and looking at the integrations and many other things in between. So yes, and all those sort of things, they start enlarging the scope of the project. And if you're not careful, it might actually, you know, we may have a scope creep. So, but again, if it's necessary that they put in these new applications, because if they don't put it, the system is not going to work properly, then they'll have to do it and make sure they do it within scope. They provide budget for it.
Okay. Yes.
Okay. Thank you for the question. Okay. Moving on to our agile project management. With agile, so you see here you have your stakeholders, inputs from customers, team managers, executives. They got that, so they give all their requirements that they need to the product owner. So the product owner will gather the requirements from the stakeholders. So everybody here is a stakeholder. They'll gather the requirement from the stakeholder, and the product owner will gather requirements from the stakeholder through several meetings. So you may have workshops, interview, survey, or you can go and sit with them and watch what they're doing. You can do some exploration, you can do research and all whatnot to gather requirements. Once you've gathered the requirements and they have signed off those requirements, you come as a product owner and place those requirements in a product backlog. So you will be using a project management tool such as Jira, Azure DevOps, HP Quality, and anyone that your company uses. So you put your requirements there, and your stakeholders obviously would have prioritized the requirements to decide which feature they want first to be released. So once the requirements are in the product backlog, the team, which consists of Scrum Master, project product owner, and developers, or the development team. It could be database analysts, the developers who are doing the coding, the other people who need to be there, and including testers, will be in that team, and they'll have the sprint planning. They'll look into the product backlog items. They'll select the ones that are priority 1, 2, and 3 maybe. They'll put it into a sprint backlog. So they'll put that into that sprint backlog, and then they'll make sure they refine it, make sure everything is understood. They can estimate it, they can explain how long it will take, if at all, and how the effort that is required for them to be able to build that software. and sorry, not software, that feature, because here we are building the features in little bits. We're not building all the feature at once like what we are doing in waterfall environment. We're building them in little chunks. So once they take the first chunk, maybe let's say they want the first thing that they want is registration page. They build a registration page within 1 to 4 weeks. But during that sprint, they have other activities that are going on in a sprint, within a sprint. So some companies have, or some Scrum teams have daily stand-up, but some decide, some may decide to have maybe twice a week or once a week. So your Scrum team will decide how they want to have their stand-ups, and then the Scrum Master obviously will make sure that they book all these meetings, and they make sure that the developers are able to achieve the objective of that sprint. And the product owner will be there to clarify any requirements. If at all the developers are not clear, they'll be there to go back to the stakeholders or the business to gain clarification and come and ask and come and provide that clarification to the developers. So once that we finish with the towards the end of the sprint, we have a sprint review meeting. And that sprint review meeting is, one is it happens just once in a sprint. Unlike daily stand-up that can be frequent, but the sprint review is just once. So with the sprint review, it's like a demo session. So here we have the entire team comes together to see what has been built, how that future looks like, how it feels, they've tested it, it's working, and all or not, and all or not. So the Scrum team demos that, and if the stakeholders are happy with the feature, then it can get released. Once the work is finished, we have a sprint retrospective event that happens. This event doesn't include the stakeholders this time. It's just the Scrum team to just reflect back on what has gone well, what has not gone well, so that they can improve on their next sprint. Any question? Any question about Agile methodology?
Hi, Rachel. My name is Olamide.
Hello.
Thank you for everything so far, for the introduction, what have you. However, I'm not sure if I missed something, because I am a student of University of Hertfordshire. I'm currently studying business analysis and consultancy. And from what we know, what we're taught in school and all that, because it's like a new background to me. I don't know anything about IT and all that. But for what we know about the tools, they used to mention fishbone analysis, SWOT analysis, and all that. Those are the tools in business analysis. But now you're telling us that they are just two. Maybe I don't understand, because I really need to. Is it that those when you're in the field of as a business analyst or what? So I really need to please shed some light on it, please.
Okay. You know what you just said, fishbone analysis and all that. I haven't really spoken about analysis.
Okay.
So I've just told you about the project management methodology. So it's totally different from the analysis part.
Okay. So we are basically speaking about management.
This is the approach that the project team will decide how they want to build the software. So do they want to
okay.
yes, do they want to build it
you.
in an agile approach where they have meetings every day, they deliver in little chunks, or do they want to deliver all the features at once? So that decision is done by the project team before a BA even joins, because this is not a BA's decision. Most of you come when all of this has been decided. You just come into the project and you're given your task to do.
Oh, then thank you very much for the clarification. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Do we have any other question? Jessica, your mic is on. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Rachel, my name is Mojisola. Good evening. Thank you for your lecture so far. So I would like to make a clarification. You're mentioning sprint, and I'm wondering, is sprint the same thing as milestone that should be done before we before a project? Maybe break it into milestones so that you'll say, okay, these are the milestones that I have to achieve before we go into the next one, before you go into the review meeting and all that. Is it the same thing?
I would say not necessarily. Milestones can be within a task, and milestone can be within a project, and milestone can be within a phase. So somebody's camera is on. Patrick, please, can you turn off your camera? So milestone is, to the best of my knowledge, milestone is not the same as a sprint. Patrick, please, can you turn off your camera? So a project milestone will be just an understand. It's like a roadmap. So a project like it's like a roadmap. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
So milestone is used for a business analyst and not particularly for the whole project itself.
It is, but it's a roadmap where they tend to write down the end to end most of the time of the project, or end to end of a particular phase.
All right.
Okay. So
all right,
when we use roadmaps for, say for instance, we use roadmap for waterfall, we tend to look at every phase of that, the entire project end to end. Okay, from January to November, or from November to whatever we're going to release. We're going to be doing how can I tell Patrick to stop? He's distracting me with his camera. Patrick, can you hear me? Can you hear me, Patrick? I don't think he can. Anyways, so when we have let me see if I can Google search it for you guys. Maybe it's different. It's easy for me to explain it when I search it. Project milestone. I'll say project milestone, like I said, is the same as project roadmap.
Okay.
So that's if you know what that is, then that's the answer to that. But I will.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, thanks. All right.
You're welcome. Just 1 minute. I will show you. So I want to show you I don't know if this one will do. No, that doesn't give me a good milestone map. Maybe I'll bring this one. No. Okay, this one almost looks better, but it's so faint for you guys to see properly. I'll see if this is big enough.
It's actually big enough, I can see.
Is it big enough can you read it?
Yeah, it's readable.
Okay, so you see the milestones. You can see this one, they've got phase 1, project initiation. So from February to March, they're going to be working on project initiation, right? Okay. And then I'm struggling to even see by myself. I just wish I could see better. Anyway, so that's milestone. So you can see all the way to July, they've planned the project, how it's going to look like. This is a project closure is going to be done in July time. And so you see all the other phases are there and the dates that they're going to be delivered. So like this one, phase 3 is taking them from March all the way to end of June or mid-July. So you see that phase 2 will take them 3 months or so to deliver, or maybe 4 months to deliver.
Okay.
So does that okay, cool.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. So
if I may, sorry, Rachel, if I may come in, just to clarify what you just said about differentiating between a milestone and sprint. A milestone is more applicable on the waterfall methodology, while the sprint is basically on the agile methodology. And then
Yeah.
the sprint is not the sprint is just a breakdown of all the the features, breaking down the features into epics of what you need to achieve. I don't know if that clarifies it.
Yeah, when it comes to comparing milestones as well, Larry has something to say. Larry, let me just finish. Comparing milestone, in Agile, you have roadmap. A lot will be said around roadmap, and then in Waterfall, a lot will be said about milestones, and maybe sometimes even roadmap. Is the same thing, it's used interchangeably. Yes, we got Larry wants to add to that.
Yeah, I just want to add the difference between milestone and sprint. Sorry, excuse me. Now, milestone is just like specific points within a project from beginning to the end. And that time might vary. A project could last 10 years. Milestone, maybe we say that from start to quarter to 3/4 to the end. Each milestone to get to each milestone could take you maybe 6 months, 7 months. But a sprint is time boxed. It's by agile methodology, it should not be more than 2 weeks to 4 weeks. A time box that you are supposed to deliver a particular part of that project. So they are not the same thing.
Thank you very much, Larry.
Yeah.
Rahim, we have
If I can just add.
And let's have Rahim, and then you can go to Lou. Thank you.
To be fair, I think Larry, or who just spoke now, kind of like said exactly what I just wanted to say. And it's because he was right, it was quite on point with what the Spanish is. I don't want to just have to repeat myself again. And one more thing I just like to just quickly add is that I just appreciate Rachel so much for how she goes into detail to like point out this important relevant industry terms and all the things that you literally need to know to be like a all-rounded BA or Scrum Master. And just really appreciate all the efforts you usually put to just make sure that everything that you need to know, you'll get to know it while you're on the training with her. And she doesn't mind like going back and forth to like teaching you all these little things as we go.
Thank you, Rahim. Tolu, you wanted to say something? Hi, Tolu. Are you there? We lost Tolu. Is Tolu still there? Let me see if Tolu is there. Tolu Dada, oh, he's on hold. So we'll just carry on because he's on hold at the moment. Yeah, somebody's got their hand up. That's Lobo or Labo, sorry. Yes, you can unmute and ask your question.
Yeah, sorry, Rachel, that was a mistake. I'm sorry, but I do appreciate what the last person said. Just giving the rest of us a little insight about what you're about in your training. I do appreciate that. Thanks a lot. That raising of the hand was a mistake.
Okay, you're welcome. It's fine. So we got Wale. Hi, Wale.
Hi, evening all. Quick
Good
one,
evening.
just to take you back on track
Sure.
to the slide that we're on.
This one?
Yeah, this one. No. Go back, the agile slide.
This one? The agile one,
agile.
Sorry.
Yeah.
This one, yes.
No, not that one. The one yeah, that's it. That one.
This one, okay.
Yeah. You mentioned that the team would jointly select items for the sprint backlog, right?
Yes.
So in an event where not every item that was picked up was completed during that sprint, right?
Mm-hmm.
What happens to the outstanding items? And if they go back to the product backlog, for example, how are they then reprioritized back into the product backlog?
Okay, perhaps I need to give a Scrum Master to answer that question. But then again, I can give my understanding, my 2 cents. So when the product, so sometimes they may have done some work on that particular item, but they maybe they didn't finish the work that they did. So they will have to prioritize it and look into how much is left and how urgent is that particular feature. So it may go back and become it may go back to the top of the priority list, and they may have to start working on it in the following sprint, and then they estimate the effort depending on how much is left to be completed. So that the product owners will, sorry, not only the product owners per se, the developers and everybody during the sprint refinement, they will look into it and determine the weight of that particular item and decide how long it will take for them to build it, and the priority as well. So they'll look whether the priority has changed or is still priority 1 or 2 or 3. Does that answer your question, Wally?
Yeah, it does. So it depends on the original priority that the features have already. So say, for example, there's something that immediately must be done. If they didn't complete it during the sprint, it has to go back to the pro backlog right at the top. And then they pick it up again from there. Okay, I'm with you. And quick one on that, I do know that stakeholders have the habit of adding to the product backlog, and it's the product owner's responsibility to sort of police that. When things get added, if they have more priority or in the eyes of the product owner, do they supersede everything else that's on the product backlog?
Yes, it will supersede, because it will take the priority, the importance of the priority, and then they'll have to figure out which sprint that will be done.
Okay. Thanks for that.
Scrum Masters in the house, if you want to add, please feel free to add. Okay, so Wally, you can lower your hand and we can continue. Thank you for the interactive. I like the fact that you guys are interacting, which makes it interesting as well. So are we good with Agile and Waterfall? And then we can move on to the next slide. Looks like we are good. Okay. So what do you do as a business analyst on the project? These are just a few things that you will do. Like, I have just generalized them here. So first, you will gather requirements, because requirement and analysis is a business analyst's responsibility, like I showed you on that waterfall here. These two, this is why you're employed on a project. So you must know that your role is to gather requirement and analyze those requirements. That's why you're there. So first thing, you gather your requirement, you analyze it, and we have different techniques, which I'm not really going to cover in this discussion. So you have different techniques on how you can elicit your requirement, how you can gather your requirement, how you can analyze your requirement, like you said, using fishbone SWOT analysis, CoSWOT, many other things that you can use to analyze your requirement. And again, different techniques such as interviewing, observation, workshops, many things, document analysis, research. You can use a lot of techniques to gather your requirement and to analyze your requirement. So when you're analyzing this requirement, what are you simply doing? You're trying to make sure that the requirements there, they're not duplicated, they're not out of scope, they are clear, they'll deliver value and all those sort of things. Once you've identified your requirements, you have your discovery techniques, like I said. Once you've analyzed your requirements and the requirements are clear enough, you'll have meetings again with your stakeholders. They need to prioritize this requirement to say, yes, this one, we need this one to be done now, or it can be done later. And you use different techniques to prioritize your requirement. You can use Moscow, you can use just ranking and different techniques, many other techniques to rank or prioritize your requirements. So again, some of these things, you don't really need to reinvent it. Your company may already have a lot of documentation and processes and different things that you just go and follow the same thing that they've done before. So unless you're going into a company that has never implemented a project before, then you may be required to start finding your documents, your tools, your this by yourself. But in most cases, companies have a lot of projects that they've done or they're working on. So you find these documents and many of these things already there for you to use. Any question? No, okay. So let me give you an example in a waterfall project that I worked on. So, or let me give you an example of when I literally gathered requirement when I joined the bank, the infrastructure bank. They were looking for a HRS software. In fact, they were looking for an ERP software, an ERP, where they will have finance software, procurement software, and HR software. So they were looking for back office softwares to implement in this ERP. Label, you got your hand up?
Yeah, Rachel, it's Labo.
Keep
Yeah,
getting
sorry,
it
I was-
wrong.
yeah, Labo. I was going to ask Rachel that, just before we move along from requirement gathering, I'm yet to get my first gig, so I'm just wondering that if one so happens to join a team at the point where requirement gathering hasn't been done, so obviously you'll be getting involved with that or with that. So how would you know as a newbie what sort of questions to ask on that particular project? Are there some baseline questions that would normally be asked in requirement gathering, or is it on a project basis? What questions would you be asking the sponsor or the stakeholders?
Most often, it will be on a project basis. Again, you can have some baseline questions that you ask. What is the project? What is the software? What is the use? What do they want? You need to first of all identify the problem. What is the problem that they're trying to solve? So you as a business analyst on a new project, you want to understand what are we trying to solve? Because projects are born out of problems. So there is a problem. Our company doesn't have a new software, a HR system, because they are quite new. I'm just taking an example from the bank I joined. They were quite new. They just the government just launched the bank 6 months before I joined the project. So they were quite new. They don't have any system because they are a baby bank. And what they're using is Excel. They're quite small, so they really don't need, they didn't have to just jump and start using a lot of fancy softwares until when they get to a certain population and all that. And because the future plan or the strategy goal was for the bank to grow to 350 employees within a year, they needed to make sure that they have a system in place. And because again, the people that they were going to be employing were big directors and all whatnot, they didn't want to make any mistake in the way they dealt with these executives. So they had to make sure that before the bank grew into 350 employees, things are in place. So I got onto the project as the only business analyst to help with the back-end software. What I had to do, first of all, was for me to check any documentation, for me to understand where they are coming from, what they're trying to solve. So I had to find out what the problem is. I had to look at the documentations in place already. We were working with a consultancy firm, so they had already done our TOM. So I had to look at the to-be model TOM. So I had to read the TOM. I had to read other stuff, documentation to understand. Then I had to start I did some analysis where I had to do comparison between 3 different ERPs, Oracle, SAP, and Workday. All of that, all those 3 software can provide finance, procurement, and HR. So I did that. For those of you who are in IT Tribe, I did inform you guys that I've got 250 something pages of documents to analyze. So I went through those documents with the help of my sister, and I analyzed it, and I had a meeting with the chief information officer and the rest of the executive team and IT team to tell them my recommendation. And obviously I recommended that we go with Workday because because of the size of our company and the kind of things that we were doing. We were not going to be international. We're not going to be a big company, and where our database was going to, the kind of restriction that we had with database, my company is a government company. We wanted a software that has their data system or their data, what's it called? The data housing in Europe or UK precisely. So, all those were the kind of things that I had to look into and make that recommendation and do a presentation to the executive team. And we went with Workday. So when we went with Workday, we had to do a bidding. We had to do some bids. We had to do some selection. We had to do tenders. And we had to work very closely with the legal team to make sure that whatever we're writing in the tender does not discriminate and and is fair. So it's a lot because it's a government bank. There's so much obstacles, roadblock, and so many things that we needed to do in order to stay compliant. Yeah. So yes, you need to understand what the problems are first of all when you join a project, and then from there now you start building your question. What are they trying to achieve? What is in scope? Most often they know what they want. They will tell you, we don't have a software, we're using Excel, but we have this number of people, and whatever we're doing, we could do it better. We need to automate certain things. We need this to be in the process. We need to have a recruitment module. Because right now we are doing, this is how we do our recruitment. So they'll tell you a lot of things that they want. And you can go back and forth and be asking questions. They're very open with that. Do not get nervous. You do your research again online. You look at, okay, day one HR software. What are the features that other HR softwares have? You go online and do your research and see what other features, or you go and do a competitive analysis where you look at the different other companies that are similar to size and maybe service that this company is, and see what they are doing, and you can build from what other people are doing. Does that make sense? Again, there's so many. You can search online. You just ask, what kind of question should I be asking? You probably have an idea to build onto that process. Have I answered your question?
100%. Thank you.
That's good. So you need to understand the problem statement. You need to understand what their current situation is. What is their current state? What are they currently doing now? And they want to change, they want to improve. So from there, so once you understand what the problem is, you want to understand, and then next you want to understand their current state, and you want to understand their desired state. What do they want to achieve? They know all this, but what they want from you is for you to help them get to their desired state. But again, you're not the one building these things to get there. You just need to talk to the right people, point them to the right direction, go and get the right answers, and you want to talk to the right people when they ask questions. And sometimes if you're new, they'll tell you who to talk to. You can say, okay, oh, this sounds like something that a solutions architect would do. Who is your solution architect? And then they can tell you the name of the solution architect. You go to a solution architect and say, this, we have this, that. how do we get to this point? The solution architect may say, oh, I'm not the one to do it. Let me pass you on to the database architect or somebody else. They'll tell you, they'll give you all the information. You just need to know who to ask the information and where to get that information. Okay, Labo. Any question? Any more questions?
Good insight. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so let's move on to our second activity that a business analyst will do. So we have process mapping and optimization. So again, not every task you do as a business analyst will require you to process map. So you may be on a project and you never do any process mapping. And you may be on a project where you are only doing process mapping as well. One of my jobs I had, I was a process analyst and I did just process maps. But even though I did just process maps, I had to do all these other things as well as drawing the process maps. So my output or my deliverable was a process map, but so unlike some role like Labo just asked, where you may produce a requirement document after you've done your requirements and your requirement analysis or your requirement gathering, your output may be a requirement document. But here, my output was process maps. So I had to gather requirements, but the gathering requirement was me having workshops with the stakeholders and draw the process map in front of them most of the time. I'll sit back and say, okay, so tell me what your current process are. And so for instance, we are drawing, let's say onboarding. So I may say, okay, tell me who are the teams involved, the cross-functional teams involved in this process. And they'll tell me, oh, the recruiter will be there, the employee or the candidates, and then maybe the hiring manager. They'll tell me different people who are involved in this process. And I will draw the process. So I can ask the question. So on the first day, what happens? They'll tell me, this person comes, they contact this person, they contact the line manager will need to do this, maybe book a meeting. So as they're talking, I am drawing the activity on the Visio or Lucidchart or whatever tool that you're using to map your processes. So once you map all your processes, you get them to be reviewed. So it's almost the same thing. You get your stakeholders to review the process maps and say, yes, this is correct, and they sign it off. Once they sign it off, you just document control it by making sure it's got the right version and it's stored in a shared drive or somewhere where you guys your document management system that is used. It could be SharePoint, it could be Confluence or anything of that sort. So there are a lot of different processes that you may be doing. Sometimes you may do different maps that you may be doing. You might be doing a system analysis where you have to look at different systems that are going to be talking to your system, or different processes end to end for the entire project, or maybe just a particular process. So it varies, but don't be scared. Once you get onto the training, you'll be learning how to use Visio, and just bring your confidence. So long as you are comfortable asking the stakeholders questions like, okay, what do I do next? So what happens next when this happens? Where does the process start? Where does the process, who does what, in between the process, and where does it end? And you understand what shapes and objects you use to create these maps, you'll be fine. Okay. Do we have any question before I move to the next point? Okay. We don't have. Then we'll move to our next point: stakeholder management and communication. So as a business analyst, this is your number one tool, number one skill, number one everything that you need to bring. You need to bring your A game as a business analyst. You need to have a very good communication skill, both verbal and nonverbal and written skills. So that means you need to be able to build rapport very quickly. You need to be engaging. You need to be a good listener. You need to be professional, and you need to make sure that actions are being done and you chase those actions. So as a business analyst, you will be required to collaborate with other people. You need to, like I said, build relationship. You need to navigate difficult stakeholders, conflicts, and expectations. So again, when you join a project new, you want to understand, and they give you a task. First thing is for you to understand who are the stakeholders that you need to be talking to in order for you to gather your requirements, or in order for you to do your task. Just 1 minute, I feel like sneezing. Sorry about that, guys. So after this, we can take maybe once I finish this slide, we can take maybe 5 minutes break or 2 minutes break or something, so we can maybe drink water, ease ourselves, and come back. Is that okay? So stakeholder management, when you get onto a project, you need to understand how to manage your stakeholder. How do you manage your stakeholder? You will learn techniques like your stakeholder engagement and management, whereby you have to understand what the importance of a particular stakeholder, and the influence that they have in that task that you're doing in particular. So you want to know, who do you need to be talking to? How often do you need to engage with the stakeholder? What do they expect to hear from you? All those sort of things. How do they need to be communicated? Do they want you to be sending emails, or do you have to call them, or do you have to, can you send them a chat on Slack or Teams? So you need to understand all these ways of communicating with your stakeholder and how they prefer it to be done. Sometimes you have daily meetings. Like I have daily meetings with my management, my direct team, which consists of my project manager, myself, PMO analyst, and our implementation partners, their own project team. So we have a daily stand-up every 12 o'clock. Even though we are in a waterfall environment, we try to have some Scrum ways of doing stuff. So, and then we have weekly meetings as well with our different stakeholders, like our regions, like Germany, Netherlands, UK, and different branches. We have weekly meetings with them. And then we have all the meetings with, let's say I have project alignment meetings with the integration team to just catch up onto what kind of things, because I'm in the business or process side, and then or functional side of the development, and they are looking at the integration. So they may come and ask me, or we just just general catch up as to what the stakeholders may have been asking, or the kind of things that they need and all the sort of thing. Then if they have they need any clarification, I may have to tell them that, okay, I've booked a meeting and we're going to be discussing that topic, or I can go back and ask them for more question or more information if at all you need me to talk to them. So again, there's always conflict. So you may do your best, but a stakeholder may not really like you, the way you sound, the way you spoke, or whatever you've done. And again, sometimes it's not even about you. It could be the stakeholders may not be agreeing on a particular requirement, or maybe the priority of that requirement, or the time scales. Somebody may just be, I don't want to say relaxed, or may not be coming forth with attending meetings. You may need a particular stakeholder to attend meetings, but they're too busy to attend the meetings. So it's delaying the project. So there's a lot of conflict. As a business analyst, you need to know how to navigate this conflict, how to be polite, professional, yet very firm, to make sure that these things are done, because you're working on a timeline and it's expected for you to make sure the project is delivered on time. Kende, you have your hand up. There's a hand up. Or is it a mistake hand? Okay, I'll carry on.
Hello.
Hi.
Yeah. Actually, I want to ask because someone actually sent me the link to join this meeting. So
Okay.
I wanted to ask if there is like a separate WhatsApp group or any group. There are a lot of people like this. So that if there is information to share or to keep me posted or updated. So that's what I wanted to ask.
Okay. The WhatsApp group, I have a WhatsApp group that's different from a Bright Tech. People in the Bright
Okay.
Tech group are people who have signed up to take a course or a service with me. So they have direct
Okay.
access to me, and they can ask me questions, they can have meetings with me, and I can have sessions with them as well. So I do have a WhatsApp group for Bright Tech for people who have signed up for the course and different service. And there is another WhatsApp group, IT Tribe, where it's almost open to most people, but we do make sure that it's a bit strict, because we don't want people who do not abide to rules and just bring disruptions. So yeah, we do have a WhatsApp group. We can post the link for you to join, or whosoever sent you the invite can send you the WhatsApp group information.
Okay.
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 You're
Thank you.
welcome. Yeah. All right, the next slide we have, sorry, not next slide. The next point we have to cover here is business analysis tools and technologies. So using a popular tool or using popular tools and technologies that can enhance your analysis experience and or activities. So we have common tools, like I said, to gather requirements. We have some tools. So let's say for requirement gathering, depending on your company, depending on the project, some companies there's no one size fit all. Different companies have got different tools, and there are 1,000,001 tools out there. For waterfall projects, most often people still use Excel heavily. And I'll say all of my projects that I've worked on, they've been using Excel. They've not used any management tool. So for people who are thinking that, oh, we need to learn Jira, Azure, many other things out there because that's all that is required, that is not true. A lot of companies are still using Excel. So you need to know your Excel to a certain level where you can get onto a project and you look smart. So if you're still in a stage where you haven't secured a job, please learn Excel. It's very, very good. As much as you're learning other tools like Azure DevOps, Jira, and whatever it is, please also add Excel as one of the things that you need to know. Is very, very important. And on that note, I'm actually thinking of bringing to run a course and business analyst, Excel for business analysts. So I'm thinking of actually putting that course together, because when I started, my Excel is I don't want to say it's advanced or whatever, but to a certain point, yes. But I wish I had a certain knowledge before I started before I started working as a business analyst, because that was the first thing that made me feel like, oh my goodness, all my colleagues, they know very well, they know how to do all this, and I can't do it, and all those sort of things. So I had to learn a lot of trying to get myself to speed. So if you can do it now that you have time, please do not neglect Excel. It's very, very important. And Microsoft and many other AIs are coming to help the way we use Excel. So things are getting easier with Excel because AI is actually being integrated with Excel nowadays. So maybe in the next 1 year or 2 years, it's going to be very, very straightforward. But it's something that you need to take you need to start having the passion and desire to learn. Any question? Because that brings us to what I wanted to teach you, or I wanted to say about business analysis. And perhaps again, I need to just say something in general. As a business analyst, you can work in so many domains. Like, just think about any business in the world, you can work as a business analyst, so long as they're using an application to do their activities. You can work in healthcare, you can work in, I don't know, garage or plumbing or whatever, so long as they're using a software to do whatever activities that they're doing to help them carry out their business, you can work in any environment. And as a business analyst, sometimes you're not only called a business analyst, they may call you process analyst, you know, a requirement engineer, they can call you anything, but even a technical analyst or something, and you find yourself doing requirement gathering. So sometimes don't look at the job title when you're looking for work, just look at the job description and see, does this require me to be gathering requirement, analyzing requirements? Okay, if it requires those, then yes, I'm in, I can do it. Any question before we move towards the end of?
No question.
All right, thank you. So Bright Tech Careers, I offer, or we offer, because I do partner with other people who have got other skills in IT and they can support you. So these are the services we offer: training, CV review, interview coaching, job search coaching, job application support. Okay, so my course breakdown, this is what we go through. I know it's a little bit, I'm not sure you can see clearly, but that's because I took it from my course to attach it here. So so what we go through is 2 days online learning. You got assignments to do, you got CV, cover letter, LinkedIn, interview preparation. We have, we go through Azure DevOps. That's our preferred tool that we use to do tasks. And so we go through all this. This is just a breakdown of basically what we do. It's a lot more, but I'm just trying to summarize it because I've kept you guys for too long, and I want people to be able to start asking questions. So again, when you join, I try to make sure you have a clear understanding of the steps that you take for you to be able to get to where you want to be. So obviously, you will do your training, and then I will encourage you to write your exams. And then again, you know, you join the WhatsApp group or the community where you learn a lot of tips and all that. And then I do have, like I say, other professionals who have been in the industry for many, many years. Like my friend who had the session last week, Mr. Tagem, he's been in the industry for at least 20 years. I was still in uni then when he graduated. So yes, and now he's a director also. So I know many people, some people have been in the industry for 30 years. You know, I can give you access to them when you join my community. So again, we'll look into your CV and then make sure we work on your CV and again that's signed off, and you can start posting your CV online. And I'll guide you through how to apply for jobs. So this is just basically what the other slide said. I'll provide you with interview tips and coaching, tell you about the industry, how it is inside, give you little tips. You can ask me any question, you have access to me. And then obviously when you secure your first job, we will talk about how to navigate your first role in you know, as a BA. And then again, general career advice. I'm always learning. So I know so many things. And you can come and tell me that, okay, you know, I'm a BA, but I don't fancy doing BA. Maybe I want to do something else. And then, you know, what do you think about it? And hopefully I may know somebody who is already doing what you want to do, and I can point you to that person so you can have a clear understanding of what you need to be looking at. Any question about Brightech? Again, thank you very much. You spent nearly 2 hours with me, or 1.5 hours. So any question, I'm ready to take more question about Brightech, how to join the training, and all you need to know. Desmond, you have your hand up, Desmond?
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Good evening, Rachel. Thank you. Thank you for the good work that you're doing. I just want to find out, so your offer is still going on, yeah, for 150. It hasn't ended yet.
The 150 offer is only for the interview coaching, and my full training, if you want to take the training, okay, I think I wanted to go to my website, just bear with me. I'll stop sharing in a bit. I wanted to, my offer, so this is my website. So this is, okay, so these are the original price. The service that I'm offering for 150 at the moment, the original price is 500, and the training itself, the entire package, is 1,500, but right now you can have it for 750. So so I do have sales going on. My birthday sale, my birthday's in 2 days, on the 7th of the 7th. So I decided to be generous, and being through me, I want to impact more people. I want to give people more opportunities. So I have decided to reduce my prices based on my birthday coming. I'm feeling birthday. I'm feeling I'm just feeling good. I'm grateful to have achieved so many things and impacted so many people. So I just thought I should continue the journey. So yes, this is what I have on my website, but I have deals going on, discount going on. So and that the discount is till the end of this month. After the end of this month, it's going back to the original price. So if you want to take advantage of that, this is the time to take advantage. And I do have, on that note, I do have students who are currently, I have a few of you here who are currently doing the training and the job support, the job interview and job support training with me. And if at all there's anyone who wants to maybe just give a shout out as to your experience, please do so. I have Rahim. Rahim, I think Rahim already spoke, but Rahim, if you want to, Rahim joined me a couple of weeks ago, right, Rahim? With he took the opportunity to grab the offer that's going, and we're having a really good time trying to make sure that everyone gets to their desired destination. So Rahim, are you there? If you want to say anything. Oh, Dee, you have your hand up, Dee.
Hi, Rachel. Quick question. I hear a lot of people talking about live projects, about doing this course and going on live project and getting all the support until you get your first job or so. I don't know. Is that something that you offer, like live project, or is it really necessary to go on live project?
Okay, no, it's not necessary to go on live project so long as you can express yourself and really say what you know a business analyst does. Many people do not go on a live project. I'm not sure I went on a live project. I can't think. The live project that we went, we probably just did it by ourselves. Not live project, just dummy project. Most of the people say live projects, actually not even live. It's just dummy project. And the reason why I like dummy projects is because it's shorter and everything is already built. You just pretend to be doing the project, if you know what I mean. So we are planning at the moment. I'm trying to put a team together to start a dummy project. I'm not going to call it live project because I don't want people to be confused. The reason why it's a dummy project is because the software is already in existence. But we're going to pretend as if we are building it, because if we try to build that software, like I told you, it may take several months to years for a software to be built. And we don't have that time. Most people want a job in the next 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, and tomorrow. So there's no time for us to be going and start doing things that will take us years to do. That's why we use dummy projects.
Okay, good answer. Because I had a little debate with someone who was trying to entice me to this program, and he was talking about live project and thousands of students that he's got. I asked myself a question: if you've got thousands of students and you've got thousands of live projects ongoing, you must be really, really good, to put everyone on live project. But talking about dummy project makes sense, like a simulation, isn't it?
Yes, a simulation, yes.
That makes sense. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Okay, do we have any other person want to say anything?
Hi, Rachel.
Hello.
Hi everyone. My name is Kelechi. So I'm one of Rachel's current students, currently doing the full package training with Bright Tech Careers. So I'm just going to briefly talk about my experience. So one of the good things about working with Rachel is you will get that mentor-mentee kind of coaching. If that's what you're looking for to becoming a business analyst, you would find it with Rachel, right? She's really, really good at what she does. So if at this point you're still unsettled or indecisive about taking a training in business analysis, for example, Rachel is someone that can help you. She can help you make up your mind, help you go on your journey, package you, send you out into the field, of course, for a successful career. So this is just me trying to encourage everyone out there. If you've joined today, with the hopes of seeing if you want to make up your mind to join or not, this is me telling you that it is worth a try.
Thank you, Kelechi. Thank you. As you, for those of you who are still in doubt whether or not you can actually move from non-IT career, Kelechi is a teacher, and Kelechi, is towards the end of her course. Okay, Wale, you have your hand up.
Yeah, I just thought I'd say something. I can't just let this moment pass without me saying one or two things about Rachel. So personally, myself, I came into BA via Rachel. I did not know a single thing about business analysis, apart from how to spell it, of course. So I started from the ground up with Rachel from the beginning. I learned, and today, when I speak to people, there are people that think that I am a professional business analyst, and I've never done one single professional business analyst job. Do you know what I mean? And today, you know what, Rachel? Yesterday, I put my CV out, and today I got like 4 calls, which is crazy.
No,
I know.
Fantastic.
Everyone talking last night just made me go, you know what, let me just put my CV out. But yeah, back on course. Rachel has the knowledge, so you're going to have complete knowledge of what business analysis is all about from A to Z. So if you're someone like myself who knows nothing, you'll be in the right place. I've heard of other people who do teaching for BA, and they just seem to skip over things. They give you general, and they hope that you would go out into the field and be able to secure a job with general knowledge. What Rachel has over everybody else that I know of is Rachel will take you deeper and give you detailed explanation. So when you speak, people will think you're actually a professional business analyst, like they do when I speak, but I'm not. And the only reason why I'm able to do that is because Rachel gives me information and detailed explanation that you won't get anywhere else. She's happy to do one-to-one. She might teach you as a group, but if you have questions and you say, Rachel, I need a little one-to-one, 20, 30 minutes or an hour, she's happy to do that. So I encourage you to go ahead and do it. When I took the course, I paid full price and I thought it was worth it. You guys are going to get a discount. So it should be double worth it for you guys. But I will caveat that by saying this. as good as Rachel is, you have to be willing to put in the work, okay? Because she can only give you all the knowledge. She's going to give you assignments. She's going to give you presentations to do. You have to make sure you do those and do your own reading in your own time to supplement what she gives you, because that's where the magic is, really. So yeah, all the best to everyone who's thinking about it. I'm pretty sure once you do the course with Rachel, your life will change. I can guarantee you that. And on that note, thank you everyone for letting me speak. I appreciate it.
I am so, you don't even understand, so proud of you and so happy that you listened yesterday and you took action. I am so, Wale gave us the most amazing presentation. I went to bed smiling all the way, like, oh my God, this is like the proudest moment of my life, seeing you come into this. I was so happy yesterday, Wale. And I'm so happy that you were encouraged by all of us. The other students, and you put your CV and you got 4 calls on your first
in one day. I put it up last night.
Amazing. You beat my record. On my first day I had 3 calls, so you beat my record. Well done. You should have a job. Well done.
Yeah.
Good.
The confidence is there. Everything is there. I just need to just get out and do it. So yeah, I encourage all of you guys, take the jump. I know I'll be honest with you guys. The reason why I wanted to do BA is because of the money. Right? They was paying like £500 a day, £600 a day, £700 a day. As nice as the money is, you are expected to actually do some work, right? So that's where you need to put in that effort yourself. But Rachel has all the tools. She will give you all the tools, and then from there on, the rest is up to you. And I wish you all good luck and God bless.
Thank you so much for that, Wale. We got Florence. Florence, we have your hand up.
Hi, good evening, everyone. So, how do I start? So, I came into the country as a student, and I didn't know where to go because my course was, I say weird, but not so weird. I came across Rachel because she's my classmate's elder sister. So, I was eavesdropping when she was advising her sister to take up a course. And my friend was reluctant, so I took up the challenge and I asked, and she introduced me to her sister. The first time I felt like family because I asked all the stupid questions and all the right questions and everything. Mine wasn't into business analytics yet. So she started with software testing. I don't know if she told you guys that.
Yes,
so with the coaching and the push and pull, I had to save money and I did the course. I wrote the exam. She was always keeping close tabs on the next line of action, encouraging me. It got to the point whereby I put out my CV and nobody was calling. She told me, Florence, bring out that CV, work on it. Let me see. She was just there every step of the way. I got rejections upon rejections. It got to a point I wanted to give up, but she was still there, telling me you can do this. Because I came in as a student, I needed a job that would sponsor me to stay back in the UK. I was looking for the company that had scholarship. Is it scholarship?
Sponsorship.
No. Sponsorship, sorry, rather. Yeah. So I wasn't looking at contract jobs. She advised me to go for a contract job. If I see anyone, just gain the experience. The first contract job I got beat the salary of a software tester. I was getting close to £40,000 annually. All thanks to Rachel, I wouldn't have taken that because I was looking for something more permanent and that would give me a longer stay in the UK. But that propelled me to getting a better one, which I got a job that I'm currently working now that sponsored me. So I would say till now, she still calls me and asks me questions. How is your first day? When I started, she has been coaching me till date, even if I still have like experience now, but she still keeps close tabs. So I would say, you know, when now the money might look big to you, but when you start earning the 500, 600, 700 pounds, you won't even remember the money you spent because you're going to get it back multiple times. Don't be scared to try new things. Don't be scared to take up a challenge because it's seriously a challenge. You might like business analytics for the money, just like the previous person said, because the money is big. But it's more than that. If you don't push yourself, if you don't tell yourself you can do this, Rachel can only do the talking, but you are the one doing the action. So give it a go and you'll never regret it.
Thank you so much, Florence. And guess what? She had, not only did she have the sponsorship from the company, they paid her relocation from Scotland to England. So it was obviously worth it. So thank you very much. And I'm so, so proud of you, Florence. I am always, you're part of my success story each time. I just feel like I want to talk about success. Thank you for being part of my journey, and I'm so happy I'm part of your journey too. Do we have any question? Thank you guys for all the lovely words and all the little, tips and whatever if you said. That is so, so nice of you guys. So do we have any question from anyone? If not, we are ready to close the day. No more questions?
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Hi, Rachel.
Hi.
I just want to add a little bit to what others have said.
Okay.
Yeah, because I'm at work at the moment.
All right.
Yeah. I would actually say, having done this course from other sources, I regret why I didn't meet Rachel from the onset, because I've spent money and got nothing. But for the short time I spent with her, I'm more than fulfilled. So I will advise anybody to head on. You will not regret it. Unfortunately, I won't say much because I'm at work.
Thank you. So Jessica is one of the people who has taken the job search or job or interview, package at the moment. So we're working through tasks and we're building confidence and all that. So thank you, Jessica, and thanks for your contribution. Even though you're at work, you made the effort to support. Thank you, guys. Do we have anyone else who wants to ask a question? You want to talk directly to the, students, to myself? You can unmute and ask your question. Hi.
Hello, this is Rahim. I'm also just trying to chip in, even though I'm in transit right now.
Okay.
I just want to say a few words to, especially to what others have already said about how much a valuable asset Rachel will be to your journey if you have her on your side. I've known Rachel for a while now, even before joining our packages or any of the packages I've joined. I know her to always be dedicated to give value, even over deliver more than what you even probably paid for, because she's going to be on your case to the point that you probably even feel she wants the job more than you do, because she's just looking at having you as part of her success story. And if you are on the same page as her, trust me, you're going to get more than the value you're going to be paying for, because I know a lot of training and other sections that people also pay for. That's what probably a whole lot more, but they don't end up getting anything in the end. So I believe with Rachel, because she's so dedicated and passionate about what she's doing, you're going to end up getting more value than you even paid for in the first place. And I just would urge you, if you would want to test anything or want to test the waters in the IT sector, this would be the best decision you can make for now. Thank you.
Thank you, Rahim. Did you hear that Wale put his CV out yesterday, Rahim, after our discussion, after our session?
Yeah, I was on his ass all day.
I am so happy. Thank you guys for encouraging me. Yeah. Okay. So that's almost taking us to, somebody's got their hand up. Hi, Temi.
Yes, it's me. Good evening, everyone. I would also to everything everyone has said. The fact that we're on this platform, obviously, we're all trying to change something and to make our lives better. And Rachel, I know we all pray to God that, let lines fall in pleasant places for us. Let, helpers of destiny, people of value be within our circle. Rachel is all that. I'm a Scrum Master by profession. I've known Rachel for a while. But when it comes to, dedication, radiating the right energy, being a good friend, a good mentor, she is one of them. So please, it's more about, I know some amongst one of the people that actually spoke a few minutes ago, is all about you being part of a success story. It's not just mere words. She thrives in success. She thrives in other people being successful. She's a helper and she's always there. So it's a passion of hers. So please, if you do want to change, if you want that change, if you want to get to where you want to be, if you want to take that step as a business analyst, this is the place. So I would encourage you. Thank you. That's all from me.
Oh, thank you so much, Temi. Thank you very, very much for that kind words. I didn't even realize that you joined the session. Thanks for joining and thanks for the support. Okay, so you guys have my contact and you can screenshot this. My number is there, my WhatsApp number is there, my email address, and you can go to Brightech. Well, right now, if you go and order anything from Brightech, you will be paying full price. Okay, so you can WhatsApp me or send me an email and I'll be able to tell you where we can take it from there. So thank you guys. Thanks everyone for the beautiful interactive session. I hope you guys have gained a few things today. And if you have any more